Hey, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. Well, this is going to be a bit different than what I've been doing. This kind of goes back to how I started this channel, which was making election predictions. So back then, I was pretty caught up with how that was all going and very invested in it. This year is not quite the same. Elections, I mean, they're still fun in a way to follow and just see everything going on. But this is going to be just more of lighthearted fun right here. Just make some predictions. I love maps and predicting things and elections and all that stuff. So this is kind of a no-brainer for me to just mess around here and figure out what's going to happen this year. So yeah, I thought I'd make this video, and if I get everything right, I could go back to this and just show all you guys, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Or if it goes badly, I'll just delete the video and just pretend it was never there. So yeah, let's just see what happens here. I'm not gonna say this is what I really believe is gonna happen, and this is going to save our country if Trump wins, or we're dead if Biden wins. It's really not that big a difference at the end of the day, whoever wins. But for the sake, like I was saying in the last video, for the sake of keeping a conservative presence going and try to keep pushing back towards tradition. I know a lot of conservatives are going the other way, thinking that's the only way to get elected. But in my opinion, we are not doing enough. And I think just making sure we're going out there to vote, not because it's going to get a good candidate in and it's going to change everything, but at least just showing we're still here and we're not all just going to, roll over and let the evils in the world do whatever they want. All right, let's get started. Let's go with some blue states first, states that have absolutely no shot going Republican. So we've got these states: Illinois, Colorado, I would say now. Bum, bum, bum. I'll fix Maine in a bit. I think there's one district in Maine that is pretty deep red. So I'll just get back to that after I get done with these. And I think that should be all of the safe Democrat states, meaning there's just no shot of them flipping, regardless what happens. And as for the Republican side, we've got all these states. Kansas, still deep red. I mean, this is where I'm from. It hasn't been trending well. So we're doing what we can here to start shifting that over again. Democrats have done a lot of work to turn it around. And there's still a lot of work for them to do because it's still very solid Republican in terms of federal elections. We also got these states. Even though Indiana voted for Obama that one year, I would say at this point they're still solid red, meaning anything, whatever happens, it's not going to not go for Trump in this cycle. And I think that's all the solid red states. Now, if we go to likely states, I think we're looking at New Mexico, Virginia. Sorry about that. Minnesota and New Hampshire, I don't think they're as possible of flipping as many people think. They're just a bunch of neocons up there. Even the voters are, for the most part. I can't see them moving in favor of Trump, especially because he lost even more support from them from the first election, which he lost anyway. I think they're just, I don't, maybe for a Nikki Haley, they might swap over but for Trump, it's not going to happen. All right. Likely Republican states. We've got Florida at this point, Texas, Iowa, Ohio, and North Carolina. I think they're pretty solid now. Even last election, when things went crazy and it seemed like everything was falling apart, he still ended up winning that state. It's going to be even better for him this year. I mean, just looking at the polls, he's plus 10, plus 9, plus 9. In the latest ones, I don't think there's much shot Trump losing that state. I think it's a likely one at that point. Maybe that'll change later on, but for now, I think that's what we're looking at. And lean towards Democrats. Pennsylvania for sure. I know some people are still pretty optimistic about it, but after seeing what happened in 2020, Philadelphia still exists. Biden is pretty solid in that state. and I'm not trying to rely on polls too much, but the fact that they've looked so good for Trump lately, and then you take into account during this time, Biden's still up 0.3 in the average in Pennsylvania. The fact that the polls show that, and with distrust in the way elections are carried out, especially in Pennsylvania, I don't think it's in Trump's path of victory. And then actually Arizona is the other state I don't trust anymore. They've been trending the other direction for a while now anyway. They finally broke through, and it just looks like it's trending more and more towards Democrats already. As it is, the white suburban voters there are not Trump friendly, not really Republican friendly in general either. And they've had shady business as well the last two elections. I just don't see it. And let me just actually fix this real quick. Alaska and Hawaii. And then Maine. Yeah. Oh, and then one Nebraska district, I think. I don't know which one it is, whatever. I think it's just one electoral vote, though. Let's go with the leans. Republican states. Georgia's one. It's been deep red historically. It hasn't been great the last two election cycles, but in general, those weren't exactly Republican friendly elections. This year, at the very least, it's definitely more Trump friendly. And looking at the polls as well, he's up over 7 points on the average. So looking good for him there, even though it's polls. So you take it with a grain of salt. It's still something. And then Nevada too, I think, is a lot like Arizona, just in the opposite way. Been trending more and more Republican. They finally got their breakthrough in a big election by getting the governor seat there 2 years ago. And it's just going to keep going to the Republican side. I think Trump's popularity as well is going to help with that. And then that would leave us with 2 states remaining. And it's all down to Michigan. Yeah, Wisconsin doesn't matter. With that being said, judging by the polls and history with Wisconsin, I'm going to say that's actually going to go to Biden. And then the leans Republican, I'm going to go for it. I'll say Trump wins Michigan. Judging by the polls, and yeah, he's up by 5 in the average in Michigan. It's a pretty big margin. Things can still happen, but he's won it before. This will be a better year for him. And yeah, and honestly, I just couldn't, even though my optimism is not very high, I still, even in a prediction video that I don't really care about that much, especially this far out anyway, I couldn't bring myself to say Biden will win. So this will be a very, very close election. Definitely if it goes according to this map, but just in general, it's going to be. It'll be very interesting. It's yeah, it's gonna keep our interest going the whole night, and unfortunately, probably the days leading up, following after it. So that's what I've got. Yeah, hope you all had as much fun as I did. This isn't really a big deal here. I'm not, really invested into this. This is just something I've always enjoyed doing and thought I'd share it. So that's all I got for you. So have a great rest of your day and weekend. God bless. And yeah, see you soon.